Okay, so now we're going to kind of break down what is resource organizing compared to traditional fundraising. So in traditional fundraising, we start off with this idea of a transactional relationship. As opposed to in resource organizing, we have a transformational relationship. So in traditional fundraising, honestly, donors are dehumanized, right? They get a call twice a year from an org, can you donate $2,000? And then the phone gets hung up. In resource organizing, we're kind of more focused on shifting the attention away from how much money you have or how much money you can contribute and putting more attention into that relationship over time. And the idea of getting people to contribute in other ways besides just donating money. Next on our list, we're looking at the idea of a one-way street compared to the concept of reciprocity that we practice in resource organizing. So reciprocity offers an institution kind of the chance to go beyond, right? And it also shifts the balance. So in traditional fundraising, a donor has the money, a donor has the power, right? We want people to be more on the same plane as the movement so that we can progress as kind of a collective. So it takes away from the orgs begging, if you will, right? And it shows that both the org and the donor have something to contribute to the movement. Next, we're going to look at giving to, as opposed to in resource organizing, giving back. So this has to do with the idea of kind of the individuals in the community who can contribute, right? They are lifting up the entire community when they contribute to a resource organizing movement. They are kind of given the opportunity to restore things that have been taken away from that community. So just, kind of taking care of the community as a whole as opposed to the individual. It also gives donors the chance to live their values. In the traditional fundraising model, giving to, it's a check mark off the list, right? That's not what we want. We want people to come in and kind of find themselves, right? Find themselves in the movement, find, if somebody really likes mail night, we want them to find mail night. So that type of thing, just again, putting the person first. Next, we're looking at compliance and evaluation compared to trust and accountability within resource organizing. So the trust and accountability is beneficial for everyone. In the traditional fundraising model, we kind of have donors saying, this is how much money you get. I'm going to give you $1,000. I want to report on where you spent every dollar, right? That's not healthy. It puts chains on the organization. It puts chains on the movement. It impedes progress. So what we want is progress all the way. And we're kind of trying to tailor, in the resource organizing model, we're trying to tailor where that money goes so that instead of looking at a report, right, a typed up piece of paper, you can see the impact of your money in how many incarcerated individuals are freed, how many prisons are shut down, how many bills are passed. So that idea of seeing your progress as opposed to just kind of having it, stashed away, filed away in a report somewhere. Finally, this is just a quick summary. The focus is on money in traditional fundraising, as opposed to resource organizing. Again, we're focused on people. Thank you. And so kind of the TLDR version of that is that social movements can exist without money, but not without people.
Awesome. Thanks, Olivia, for mapping that out. I always get really excited when I hear about resource organizing, especially in comparison to the sort of traditional fundraising framework a lot of us have been brought up in. So again, this year is the Ella Baker Center's 25th anniversary, and we have a goal around resource organizing, which is to raise $500,000 and welcome new EBC supporters and volunteers through peer-to-peer organizing. So that's sort of the overall goal for the organization. The resource organizing project that we're a part of has a different goal, related but different, which is to have 25 peer-to-peer pages. We already have about 5 up and running, which is great. And the idea behind these peer-to-peer pages is if everyone was able to raise $1,000 through their peer-to-peer page, that would be 1 to 2 more mutual aid events that EBC could host this year. So here are some creative ideas that can help get your juices flowing to think about what you could do for your peer-to-peer campaign. So in the past, we've had folks who were part of a book club, and they decided to organize their colleagues and friends in their book club to give to the Ella Baker Center. Birthday celebrations, we all have a birthday once a year. It's a great opportunity to use your special day to raise funds and mobilize resources for the Ella Baker Center. I'm actually doing that this year for my birthday. We've also had folks put together film screenings and discussions. It can be related to Ella Baker Center's work and use that as an opportunity to mobilize funds. During COVID, we have had folks do virtual house parties. Hopefully soon we can do house parties in person again. And then another great idea that we've done in the past is around celebrating political activism. And so one example of that is our stamps campaign. And so for folks on the inside, it can cost up to a day's worth of pay to pay for a stamp, a single stamp. And the Ella Baker Center has been receiving stamps from folks on the inside for years. And so this campaign, the stamps campaign, is about asking folks on the outside to match the generosity of folks on the inside by donating a day's worth of pay to the Ella Baker Center, or an amount that is meaningful and significant. So that's always been a great campaign. We did it last year, and we're doing it this year again as well. So here is a screenshot from the resource organizing toolkit. And I think, yeah, Ash put the link in the chat so you can check it out there. Oh, I guess we'll also put the link in the chat. So this is a handy checklist that we put together. It helps you walk through your idea, your goal, setting a start and end date, gathering a list of names and email addresses and phone numbers of folks to contact. We help walk you through with a communications plan. We provide some email templates and social media templates. We always try to encourage folks to include a photo of yourself or a photo of work that the Ella Baker Center is engaged in. And then we also walk you through how to set up your online page. So this checklist is super easy. The toolkit is really easy. And I think that the best part of the toolkit is that it includes templates. So if you're feeling stuck, we've already provided you with some language. So it's sort of just as easy as 1, 2, 3. This is just walks you through how to set up your online page through ActBlue. So the first step is that you create an account, you set up the basics, and then the best part is you get to customize your page. So if you see on the screenshot here, this is actually a screenshot of my peer-to-peer campaign that I'm running right now. And I got to put in the text and share why EBC's work is significant to me. So now it's your turn. So we want to pass it. I know that was very suspenseful. We want to pass it off to you all. What is your resource organizing idea? We've shared some examples of what others have done, and hopefully it's getting you thinking. So now we're going to break into small groups to think about these questions. So what is your resource organizing idea? And then what are ways that you are already engaging your community? Maybe that's through book clubs or yoga classes or a trivia night. And are there ways to incorporate resource organizing into something you're already doing? And then our last question is, are there skill sets or creative talents that you already have that you can leverage to get people to support the Ella Baker Center? So we're going to move you into small groups. I think we'll be in them for about 5 minutes or so. Yeah, to discuss these questions, take some notes, and then we'll come back and do a larger group share out. All right. See you all in a little bit.
Okay, so I think we're all back now. Let's talk about what we just talked about. So I kind of want to, if you, well, I guess you can unmute or you can just share in the chat. How did it go? You know, what were we talking about? What are some ideas that you guys came up with in your small groups? Unfortunately, I'm plenty confident to call on people, so I'd hate to do that, but like I want to hear what we were talking about. I want to hear some brainstorming ideas. Okay. Uh-oh. Just got started. Nice. Okay, Lisa, do you want to share what your group was talking about? Kind of how did it go? Like what are your ideas, challenges, surprises? What was happening?
We were just getting started in the time that we had, and I was thinking about a house party or maybe a film discussion thing. But I am beginning to think of the kind of circles of people that, care about this work, and then trying to find something to pin it to that would appeal to them. So it's kind of like, yeah, I can have my bright idea, but I'm also trying to think about what my friends are gonna get down with.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Like kind of what sells in your network for sure. Who else do we have? Benito, do you want to share what was going on in your group? Or you guys are in the same group?
Yeah, I shared. I'm definitely new to this type of organizing. I just mostly was going through the toolkit and seeing the great resources that y'all have, so that was really helpful. And I'm interested to learn kind of how to translate those resources into projects. So, for example, in an organization that I'm involved in, how to provide services to low-income folk without them having to pay certain fees, and how to use that resource, those funds from the resource organizing um, to facilitate that. But it was an interesting conversation too. I think it was rather short.
Yeah, for sure. That is interesting. Also, I'll just say it now. Like there are EBC people that can kind of help one-on-one, right? So if you know that this is something you want to do, but you need more help brainstorming, there's definitely people that would be happy to get in contact with you. Yeah, does anybody else kind of want to share out what they were thinking? Hurdles, obstacles? I will just say, like, this is the question that we're trying to keep in mind, right? Is how can we help EBC reach its 25th anniversary resource organizing goal? So I think we're good. I appreciate the people who shared out. Thank you so much. Yeah, and Ash is sharing some resources in the chat just to kind of have that one-on-one. So good work, everyone. Now, as we're starting to wrap up, I want to go around, or you can respond in the chat again. I'm going to ask the same question I asked at the very beginning, which is, how are we feeling about resource organizing? If you could choose one word to describe your attitude now that we've explored it a little bit more, how are you feeling? So you can share that out in the chat. This is just kind of a review of the resources that we have available. This is just a few of them. So we have the peer-to-peer toolkit, which we shared screenshots from today. We have the Act Blue page and kind of how to set up your own. I believe that's on our website. And then we have EBC mentors. So again, people that can help you, people that can kind of like consult with your creative process and turn it into a reality. So yeah, so sorry, visit ellabakercenter.org/resource organizing to check out all the cool stuff we have assembled for you. Seeing a lot of good responses in the chat. People are excited. It's important, definitely, for sure. So yeah, so just before we go, I do want to share Ash's email in the chat. 1 second. And yeah, they can help you again if you have questions. I really hope that's it. Anyways, so yeah, the link to the peer-to-peer resource organizing toolkit is also in the chat. And yeah, I think that's it, everyone. Thank you so much for your support and your creativity. If you need additional kind of help, LJ is great, and that's her information over on your left. And then there's also other ways to get involved, right? Beyond this, just this webinar, you can join us at committee meetings for resource organizing last Tuesday of every month. That sounds awesome, from 6 to 7:30. So I want to see everybody there. So excited. Anyways, thanks guys, and I hope you have a good rest of your evening.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Take my peace, trust the process. Lately it's been crazy, like weight overwhelmed, wishing something could say.